Oh dear. I've not been recording. Oops. Anybody? Any idea that you feel like, oh, I don't want to use the assignment I want to give you guys.
I don't think there's anything AI cannot do. I don't think so right now.
There are things that AI cannot do yet. Uh, okay, okay. Let me build something. That one I don't need. I don't need to clarify. Let me build something that can at least search for jobs and help you manage. Maybe automatically send application in a job application system that can search for jobs for you
But
every
it can
day.
do.
What do you say? Anyway, it's fine. I just wanted to show you how it eventually pans out and probably how to manage it when it happens. I can search for job for you every day. Um, Shows the list of jobs that works for you based on your CV search. CV rates your chances at getting in and have a button to auto apply for you or something. Makes sense. Possible. I think it's possible, but yeah. All right. I hope I don't waste my entire plot. Matching auto apply, lazy apply, I apply, trial loop, volume, quality, what knowing before you build. Practical baseline is like 5 to 10. Okay. All right. So you can tell it give me a sample prompts to use in both. Usually, you don't have to do all of this. It's because I'm trying to look for an idea, actually. In most cases, you already know what you're trying to build. All you have to do is just go ahead and build it, right? And then when you're done building, you validate with the users. How far does this solve the problem before you actually take it to your developers and say, hey, I think this makes a lot of sense. Can we start working on it? Okay, build this for me. So we'll just use this for teaching sake. Okay. All right. So usually when you give AI stuffs like this, it start thinking about it. First thing it does is start thinking about it. Remember, like when we're teaching earlier, we mentioned something about LLMs, right? So I mentioned that LLMs itself or their self are not necessarily the brain behind most of the things we do. LLMs are basically just language models. And when I say language models, I mean they are they are like your think of it like your language box. What helps you to be able to speak the language you are speaking right now, right? It understands every syllable, every alphabet, every figure of speech, type of speech, basically languages, right? So what is happening right now is when I put my input in, right? It took my input, took it into the LLM, tried to understand what exactly I want to do, and then when he understands what I wanted to do, broke it down into what I told you guys we call what's the name now? What I told you guys we call it's on my Vector, yes. So it was on my mind. All right, some what I told you guys that we call vector, and then takes that vector to the data, or should we call it data set, and then try to search for things that looks like it. And then after finding related stuff to it, it takes it back in raw form, in vector form to the LLM. Then the LLM converts it to human readable language that all of us are now seeing here. So basically, he has told me this is what he does. You to do is set up a folder structure, blah blah blah. You see the reason why planning works. So you can read what he wants to do first. And if it doesn't apply to you, then you can tell it, okay, for this particular one, change this about it. For this particular one, change this about this, blah, 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 blah. Right? So now that it's done planning, we can tell it to work. Uh, I hope it still understand context. So basically, the same thing we are doing here, you can do the same thing with other systems. But personally, I prefer Lovable, right, to all of them, because Lovable is like your Claude for your regular chat LLMs that you have. Like, I would rather use Claude than use ChatGPT or DeepSeek, or likes of those guys. I'd rather use Claude because Claude is more general purpose and very, very smart, right? The same thing applicable to these platforms that allows you to vibe code. There are a lot of them, right? There's a lot of them that I can't even begin to count. However, the best one that I love to use that gives a bit more control is Lovable. Lovable usually is smarter, at the extreme end. And the beauty of this is it doesn't just come up with a design for you. It also kinds of write the entire code, so that in case you are showing your developer and your developer say, okay, I don't think I didn't know that this was possible, they can at least see how the AI came up with it, and probably be able to somehow fix it on their end or make it work on their end as well, especially for companies that don't believe that you should use AI for coding. Like, there are companies that say, no, don't put AI in our code, right? At least your developer can look at the code and then help him. Ah, that's what he did. And then, do the same thing on their own end. So while we're waiting for this, let's check out Lovable. And I will show you that almost all of them has the same interface. So if you check Lovable, again, sorry, Lovable is also something I use a lot. Right, Lovable also looks exactly the same. You tell it what you want to do, and then it comes up with it for you. We also have Zero Vassell, blah blah blah. Zero something by Vassell. Okay, Visa. All right. Also the same thing. Basically, all of them have the same interface. Tell it what to do, and then it builds it for you. Which other one? We have a lot of them, right? And I won't dwell much on it. We'll still go back to Love It because I wanted to show you an example of what I would give you as an assignment, right? Before we now go into practical individually. All right. So once this is done, then we'll go to Lovable. Let me open Lovable down. In the meantime, let me also show you guys these guys, because they are multi-purpose. So they design and write the code almost at the same time. They are very limited in their design thinking, and how they can be very expressive with designs and all of that. So because of that, Claude came up with Claude came up with his own Claude design. Claude design, right? Claude design is an example of Claude AI that can actually come up with crazy designs for you. Just think of any design you could ever think of, and then it will come up with it. My current website was designed by Claude for me. Oh, my subscription has ended. All right. Yeah, I designed an app for my church as well. Claude designed it for me as well. I also worked on right? Claude basically designed all of this A to B for me as well. I can see the doctor's dashboard, the patient dashboard, and I can move between them, see what the app would actually look like when we are finally done. So that way, again, we don't have to write big, long documentations. In fact, maybe in the future, we probably will not have to write user stories and acceptance criteria the way we write it again today. All you have to do is show them what you want it to be, and your developers can probably fine tune the code to meet the requirement, right? I've used Cloud Design for a couple of things recently. I think I used it for, yes, my website, these websites that we use for class. This design was initially given birth to by Claude, right? As you can see, was initially what's the word now? Claude gave birth to it initially for me as well. My previous design became almost terrible in design when I started using Claude Design. And also, just like Claude, which is Anthropic, have their own design system. Google also had its own. Call it uh, yes, Stitch, right? I'm recording this so you can just go back into it in case I'm basically too fast, right? So oh, Stitch also has its own lovely design architecture, right? For example, today I was playing around Stitch as well, and all this lovely animation and all that was also able to Stitch was able to give birth to it today, actually. When I was working on it. I've also designed a couple of things, I believe, right? It basically just gives you idea. I think that's the core concept of it, right? It gives you idea of what your design should look like. I mean, remember where we are coming from, right? You have the idea in your head and you have to hand sketch it, right? To look like this. But now you don't have to hand sketch it anymore because of course there is now a tool that you just tell it your mind and then it comes up with it for you. This especially is beautiful for your developer, especially when you are still not sure what color should I use, and it takes time to be thinking of those ideas. And usually designers are asking you what colors. Only a few designers. I think I've worked with a couple of them that will tell you, okay, especially if you are starting a new company, like it's not as if you want to go and join them. Usually, if you're lucky and you join an existing company, they already have their own design system and all that. So you don't have to think of colors and all of that. Your designer can worry about that. But in some cases, yeah, this is done. It's just notified me. In some cases, you're just joining a new company and you have to make things work, right? In that case, you might need to think of what it would look like, right? A lot of times. I think this was done for one of my students, I think. All right, so as you can see, we have a lot of them, a lot of examples that you probably want to see. As you can see, right? I think this was when it came out. It was very terrible, very very terrible. But Stitch is better now. By the way, it's more smarter, so to say, right? So we have this guy Stitch, Cloud Design, and many of them just to work on design, right? And then you have Lovable, the OV0, Bolt, Replit, many more like that, right? That are not just built uh, to design alone. They write the code for you as well, so you can basically interact with it. In fact, you can launch it. You can launch that particular hub, especially in a place where you're joining a new company and the company just wants to collect leads at the initial time. Maybe they're saying, oh, we want to just put a very fast website out so that our customers can know that we are available, and then also maybe like click and fill a form for wait list or something like that. That can be easily done with Lovable or the likes, right? One of the advantages of these platforms. So yeah, let's go back to what's this? the guy that we said we should build. So as you can see, it basically just builds the field. I can see all the jobs that are available. If I click on them, I can see what they basically entail. I hope this is real jobs. I think they are dummy data. I can see tracker, I can see profile, where I can actually put, I think, my CV. Right, let me see. Let me not put my CV anyway. So I can put my CV, and then here I can see all the jobs I've applied to, interview, blah blah blah, and I can probably manage them, which is exactly what we want to build. So if we had time, right, I'll probably improve it, test if it works. Or I can even tell bots to actually create a database for it. As you can see, it has like right, there's a whole function. They used to have a database. Where is it? They even have file storage, which means you don't need S3 buckets, right? There are tables, which it has not created already. So it doesn't have a backend yet. It just generated like user interface. So let me just walk you through what the interface is. You already know what this side is. This side is for writing your prompts, telling it, oh, this thing that you have done is not working. Oh, this thing you have done. Okay, clean this, make this better. And then at the top here, you can actually see all the versions that has happened and then go back to a previous version. Just the way you would learn very soon that developers also have that on their GitHub or GitLab or Bitbucket, wherever they are working. So yeah, that's about this part. Also, you have preview to actually see what the app look like, and you have a way to go into the code and see what the code look like. Like if you are someone that likes to like get your hands dirty, so you can see the code itself that it has written for each of the UI that you're looking at. And you can set up your database, you can, clean it up and all of that as time goes, right? So yeah, I know a couple of my friends that actually have websites that are running on Lovable. Like you won't know that it was Lovable that they used to build it. Fully built and it's running, right? So again, don't treat it like, oh, it's just for prototyping. If you need something very fast in your company, while your development team work on the final product, maybe a landing page, right? You can easily suggest that it's being used for it. And if the company gives a go ahead, you can work on it, right? For the company while the developers are working on other things, so to say. All right, so this is ideally what basically vibe coding is. Um, Although this is not all there is to it. If you are someone like me that likes to be more hands-on, it's not for you. It's not just about seeing what it looks like. You can again consider tools like open code. Open code does not have UI, so you have to work with it, understand the code, learn how to deploy, and all that, right? And it doesn't. Your token will not finish the way it will finish with this one that has like a UI. So again, in a way, right? So if you are someone that like to like vibe code big things, right? I have a couple of app on Play Store already that I'm also trying to push that everything was basically vibe coded. So if you are someone that likes to vibe code real time, maybe you want to go beyond just this, but I'll advise that everybody start from this. Going beyond this means that you have to use tools like Codex, like um what's the other one? Like Cloud Code, like anti-graffiti, open code, many more like that. There are a lot of them out there. There are IDs on their own, just like what your developers would do, right? All right. Before I ask you guys if you have any questions regarding this, I want to quickly walk through something with you guys. So I'll be giving you an assignment to build your own portfolio website with any of these tools, any of these AI tools. If you can decide not to use Lovable and decide to use another one. Luckily, if you have LinkedIn Premium currently, you have access to um, Lovable Pro for a year. So grab your copy. If you have a student email, maybe you used to your school has at universityofilorin.com when you went to school, and that email is still available, right? You can get it also for free. because you can apply for the student this thing, which means your token will not finish on time, basically. So yeah, let me show you an example of what I want you to work on. In fact, there's no example. I want you to work on something like this, right? Build a portfolio for yourself that when people come to your website, sorry for those of you that don't like dark mode, right? When people come to your website, they can ideally see what you've worked on, who you are, learn about you, get to know you, blah blah blah, something like that, right? As product managers, we don't have ideal portfolio page like as that because there's nothing portfolio about us. But you could have like a landing page that talks about you. For example, I have a thought page where I put all the wonderful things that I want to talk about that some people read, some people don't read, right? At least I track it. One of my most read write up is this money point debate. Um, so yeah, I want you to build something for you, something that you can use after the class, right? Just play around it, right? And how do you start? I could say, for example, attach. I think I should probably have a CV I've worked for somebody. Resume, resume. I don't want to use my CV because I don't want you able to see what my CV looks like. I'm shy. Ah, all right. CV. Why? I need a CV I can work with. Okay, let me just download the sample CV. Sample CV.pdf. Okay, this looks like a good sample CV. Nope, I want one that has name. Okay, let's use this person, even though I don't know the person, but this person is about to have a landing page of their dream. All right, so let's say, for example, using the CV above or attached, create a sophisticated, I don't know the spelling of sophisticated, sophisticated landing page that works. Right. So ideally, uh this is the base. Like I said, this is the list that you could do. I don't want to again go into complex stuff. As you can see in my open code, like I have a lot of projects open right now. But again, I don't want to go into complex stuff yet so that I don't lose people that are here on the call. So for now, let's start with this, right? And then when we start with it, when I see what you guys come up with, then we can know if we're doing more. Maybe we can even have a weekend of practical or practice.
Hey, Shala, your mic is muted in case you're speaking.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Ah, lovely. Okay. So as you guys can see, right? It basically took a CV, this CV, took this CV from what it looks like right now to becoming this guy, right? I think his research are not all showing anyway. But yeah, it took all of this to this, right? To this wonderful work of art, ideally. So the idea is we can do more with AI, right? Before now, if you want to build something like this, I don't know him. I wish I can just send this to him as a gift. Before now, if we want to do something like this, we would most likely have to get a developer, pay the developer, sometimes wait 6 months, you reach out to them, why is it not working, blah, 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 why is it not working, why is it working? I can do something else. So why this ideally is working fine, I can always say this request CV button should be download CV. The request CV button should be download CV instead, since you already have the CV. Uh, let's make a few adjustments, right? This replaced by read more and a dedicated page for all is complete publications, theses, and conferences should be created with links to each of them, right? So again, you could see how the world has actually moved from before. You'd have to first give somebody to work on this. After the person is done working on this, they give it to you, you review it, and then create a Excel or just type it to them on WhatsApp, and then they tell you, okay, I work on it. When can I get it back? In the next 2 weeks, we should be done. Blah blah blah. But now with AI, you can basically see your results almost immediately. You want to change a color, you want to add a logo, you want to, anything you basically want to change within the website can be changed practically almost immediately, right? And this is one of the what's the word that is used now? One of the advantages, ideally, that exists for us in the AI world, right? And advantages for us as product manager is that it helps us bring our ideas to life early, right? I don't have to wait till I have that thing in my head, but I don't know how it would look. I don't know if what I have in my head would work ideally. I don't know if this is even possible, right? Let me not write a ticket and my developer is telling me, oh, this cannot be done, especially for those of us that are just starting that don't understand the technical scopes, right? So this allows you to be able to implement it at scale. Remember the other time, right? While I was cleaning stuff up with Claude, like I could know from the get-go that these things that I'm trying to do would probably not be possible. It's an idea, a fallacy that I want to watch two um, movies at the same time on the same TV, no matter how big it is, right? It's a fallacy. At the end of the day, the system told me, guy, it's a fallacy. It can't work, right? So again, this is the big idea, right? As you can see, it's created a new page basically for it, and it allows you to actually download the CV, right? And now I can find out more. I can see his research. Oh, that's lovely. I can basically find other things that he has also worked on, which is good, right? I can view some of his articles and journal. Okay, the link is not correct. But his thesis, okay, I can find his thesis, right? I can basically find everything that I told it to do. And like I said, this usually would take days of work, weeks of work. If I decide that no, I don't want this design system again, I want something else, I want all the white background to be white background, I can also do that, right? So again, this is what ideally, you see all these smooth automations, right? You can decide to change it. Right? I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want this, I don't want that, right? Ideally, this is what vibe coding is on a nutshell. Like I said, there's more to it. Like the more you work on it, the better it gets for you, the better you start to learn it. But on the surface, this is basically what it looks like, right? Now, if we don't have any question, I want to actually go into practical to see you guys work on this. So if you have any question, please ask now before I start calling names to share their screen. Any questions from anybody? Any questions? Okay, I'll take it as no questions. All right, so I'll just call randomly